I want to see Nova Shox' animation. Because I realized that was the Guardian of Life, not the Lightning Guardian. That was the unicorn. Oh yeah, this is the one that looks like Zinogre, I think. I love it. The Guardians are the same from Wild Arms 1. I like that that theme. They're a recurring. Oh, I think I don't know if I killed your crystal. I hope I did. Hey. Either way, it's a lot of XP and Gela. But yeah, it's like the Tales of series where the Guardians, the mediums are the same from the first game, because I remember that medium from Wild Arms 1. So that's really neat. That they're like recurring themes apparently throughout all the games, presumably, I would hope. I like when franchises do that. Like, I'm totally fine, or Final Fantasy, the obvious answer. The summons are the same in all the games, with a few standouts. Tales of and FF both do that, but like I like when games do that. Like, they can be standalone experiences, but when there's like very obvious themes of why they're the same franchise, I like that. How wretched. Surprisingly, even the Mother Regeneration unit responded as if yielding to a baby. You think it was that the regeneration didn't work? You. If I had only had Bolkogadon, everyone would be paralyzed. If only it was finished. There's nothing more maddening than to be delayed by hoodlums I only just met. It makes me shake with anger. Ard. But the legend of us has just now begun. Today's scientific know-how will lead us to the land of promise. This isn't FF7. What do you mean, promised land? While I was waiting for that day to come with a great anticipation, we morphed into this new shape. So that's what happened. What are you, an idiot? Something like that could never happen. We probably looked like this since birth. Bluntly put, we're in our birthday suits. Either way, we managed to successfully delay you all on a grand scale never seen before. Listen, thanks. Darn, I'm still reading this dialogue. Well, it was a rotten trick. We ungrudgingly exposed our brilliance. Vin is probably delighted by this. Me and my images of youth will never, ever be caught. Vin is probably just trying to get rid of you, losers. As your last memory in your teens, let the sight of your departure burn your goggle eyes. Adieu. I don't think Ashley is a teen. I think Ashley's like a young adult. Ashley's probably like 19. Brad's like an adult. Luca is the only teenager. Tim is 12. Luca's like 14, I think. It's just like cutting the tail off of a lizard. Drats. It's more important for us to pursue the Odessa forces than chase those two, unfortunately. I wish I can kill them. Hopefully they'll let me kill them eventually. I feel like because they're comedy relief villains, they're not gonna let me kill them, and that's gonna be so lame. I wish I can kill them. Can I not open this? Weird. I'm gonna save my game first. That was an incredible waste of time, just like all Lizenard segments are, and that was only the second one. I doubt far from the last. Data tablet pattern shows they're now heading northwest. That's northwest from here. I bet they're trying to get through Green Hell. Green Hell? What a name of a place. Green Hell? Did you say Green Hell? Green Hell's a trail through the northwest forest. The Green Hell Trail is the only way to escape in this area. Even animals can't get out. Tablet's pattern still indicates northwest movement. We'll just have to trust Brad, follow them, stay on them like a bloodhound. Liz seems stupid. Liz is stupid. Liz claims to be a genius, but is actually stupid. And that's mostly to the fault of the translation. But it stands. It stands to reason. In the context of the game, Liz is stupid despite claiming to be a genius. So yes. Liz is a buffoon, not seems like a buffoon. Breeze and lightning. Ba-ba-bum. I don't know where I'm looking, but let's just... It did say northwest, actually. I should have an idea of where I'm looking. Oh, this is something else. A sorcery apple. Let's go. Now, here's the question. Do I use this on Tim or Lilka? Tim has a lot more sorcery than Lilka, so I'm going to use it on Lilka. What's this? Is this where I need to be? Green Hell. I don't need to search again for some reason. Did the game forget about its search system mechanic? Oh, isn't this where, maybe it's because the music is playing, but is this where Brad started in his prologue? There should be a small village on the other side of the forest. As long as they're cutting through the forest too, they're bound to leave clues. Do you know anything about the village, Brad? Oh, I guess nothing. Let's go. Their footprints lead directly north. Alright, dodging the question. Brad, you don't talk very much about yourself, do you? Oh, hey. I remember this. Yeah, this is probably where Brad had his prologue. I just don't have anything worth talking about. Let's hurry. The longer we wait, the harder we pursue. Go, go, go. This looks very similar to where Brad went in the prologue, and also the music's the exact same. It's mostly the music that makes me believe that this is where Brad was. Yeah, look, the chest is open. This is exactly where Brad was in his prologue sequence. So ideally, the enemies are probably going to be, like, really weak. Oh, the village also must be where Brad ended up in the village. I remember Brad ended up in the village and then he was arrested. So we will probably be heading back to that village that Brad was at way back when. Anyway, yeah, Liz sucks. Mostly just because I, as the commentator, have to suffer through the dialogue. But yeah, Liz sucks. I will say, playing this game, we talked about this before. PS1 games aren't going to have, like, mind-blowing translations. There are definitely translations better than others. Like, Xenogears, I feel like, has a questionable translation, but the translation's definitely not so terrible that you don't understand the story. And I feel like the translation's, like, decent to solid. Although it has some minor faults. And Xenogears is a really big game. It's a long game. It's got a lot of text. It's very text-heavy. So, the fact that its localization is, like, decent or solid for, like, however long it is, it's like one of the longest PS1 games out there, is good. Also, Final Fantasy VIII has a questionable localization. But again, I feel like the story's still understood. And I have a soft spot for FF8, so, you know. But then there are games like Arc the Lad or Lunar 1 and 2, Grandia, Valkyrie Profile. Those games are, like, probably the top of PS1 localizations. FF9, I would say, has a good translation. FF7 is probably also questionable. I haven't played the original FF7 in a while, but I would say the original FF7 has a questionable translation. Because there are some typos in it that people like to point out. But like anything that's like Valkyrie Profile, Arc the Lad, Lunar, or Grandia are, in my world, as good PS1 localizations as you're going to get. Still not stellar, but for the time they're made, they're good enough translations, I would say. And the Tales of games have solid, the Tales of PS1 games have solid translations. Mostly Eternia. I don't remember the original Destiny that well. But I would say Eternia's is good. It's been way too long since I played Breath of Fire 3, so I can't say much on that, but I think Breath of Fire 3's is maybe a little questionable too. But it's like FF7, FF8 levels of questionable, like it's still good enough, all things considered. Get him. I should have skipped this encounter when I didn't see it was green. But I also wasn't paying enough attention, although we are getting a lot of XP, so maybe I shouldn't be. I forget that Brad has the bombs every time. But yeah, PS1, a lot of people say PS1 localizations aren't good to begin with. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that sentiment. They're not fantastic, but I mean, they're mid-90s, they're mid to late 1990s games. So like, I don't know what you really expect. But there are definitely some better than others. You know, like, people say they're all kind of terrible, and I just don't agree with that sentiment at all. Like, a good PS1 translation isn't stellar, but it's good. It's like good enough, you know? It's still good and decent. And then there are ones that stand out and are not so good. But they're still, like, good enough to understand the story, I would say. And so far, Wild Arms 2's translation has been good enough to understand the story, I would say, outside of Liz sections. But again, Liz is a comic relief character not to be taken seriously. So, I mean, it's a pain to go through Liz's dialogue, but of all the things to screw up, I'd rather it be a quote-unquote, comic relief character that's not meant to be taken seriously and doesn't really apply to the overall story. Outside of that, the story's been like incredibly, I question like, oh, why do they word sentences in a certain way, but like the story is still understandable. And Liz is like not central to the overarching story. So, you know, Liz and Art are there for comic relief, even though they don't really do that really well, because I don't find them funny at all. T-Bog Village, this is where Brad was. I remember this place. Dude, I got sunburned so bad on my shoulder, it really hurts. Like when I went to the beach. That's like the one thing I hate about going to the beach. I have really sensitive skin. Scenery hasn't changed since then. Could it still be the same? I have changed much since that day. Nothing stays the same, no matter what form it is. Is something the matter? It's nothing. Forget it. Let's keep following those guys. I remember this music. much Gela do I have? I have a decent amount. We could do some arm upgrading. Nothing crazy, but we could do a little bit. Especially on, like, the new arm we got, which is Dead or Alive. Oh, wait, this is not the arm shop? My bad. What's this, a chest? No, it's nothing. I thought it was a chest. It looked like one. Doggo. Oh, is this the dog that helped us? Well, well, fancy this. Help Brad, that is. Stop that this instant. Don't bother the travelers with all your horseplay. Oh, hi, mister. I said my name isn't Mister. Is that you? Dog's name. I did this before, right? I'm naming you Torgal after FF16. I'm doing that again. Because I'm uncreative. And I'm also playing FF16 at the time of this. 1000%, this game has so many great NPC dialogues, book entries, and libraries, meaningful themes, explorations, though its worst moments is all people remember. It's in high need of a retranslation, but I could easily follow the story as a kid in 2000. Exactly. I can't relate because this is my first time playing the game. This is my very first time playing Wild Arms 2. But so far, I'm following the story. The only time I'm like, oh, this game makes no sense is when Liz is on screen. But apparently they messed up the translation with Liz's dialogue, so like, that's just what they did. Liz speaks in like some weird dialect or something. How could you forget Torgal? I know it's been 5 years, but still. Let's see, you must be... It's me, Meryl. Not the same Meryl you knew before. I'm 17 now. We all have to look our age, including Torgal and me. All this time, I had hoped that we would get the chance to meet again. Sure, if you were to ask, like, oh, pick PS1 games that aren't really translated the best, I would obviously, like, consider Wild Arms 2 to be, like, a subpar translation, but I would far from call it bad. That being said, I haven't finished the game yet, so, you know. I haven't finished it yet, so I can't really say that, but so far, it's been a pleasure. I've been enjoying Wild Arms 2, so, you know, like, that says something, the fact that I'm enjoying the game, and people say, like, oh, the translation's not great. After you left, mister, I asked why everyone called you a hero. And I asked why a hero like you would be chased down and captured like that. But you're not a bad man anymore, right, mister? That's why you're here now, right? No, I'm still a prisoner. I've been a prisoner ever since that day. I wanted to see you so that I could show you something. After you were taken away, Torgal told me he was in the forest unconscious. I think he was in the Slayheim Liberation Army like you. This is the place. Come on inside.